Most game creators fail, not because they don't have great ideas or talent, but because they spend so much time working on the wrong thing. They spend months, sometimes even years, working on a game that, frankly, nobody cares about. I've actually contributed to games that reached billions of downloads. And here's the truth. There's only one thing that matters when working on a game that makes money. If you don't master it, you're guaranteed to fail. But if you do, you're most likely going to be in the top 1% of creators that actually make money with games. So let's break it down. Every year, thousands of games are uploaded to the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, but only a handful of them are actually making money. The reason for that is that a lot of the creators are perfectionists. They take too long to test their games out. I've worked on games that reached millions in revenue. Every single one of them followed a specific formula and framework that made them successful. And today I'm going to share with you that formula so that you can actually start applying it to increase your chances of making a successful game. But before we get there, there's one mistake that's killing a lot of your games. You're spending way too long working on a game before testing it out. You might think it's a great idea, but you have no data points to prove it. So by the time you get to actually launching it, it's too late to pivot, and a lot of people have made similar games, tested and launched before you. What happens when you make this mistake is that you burn a lot of money, resources and time, but also lose confidence. I've talked to a lot of game developers that gave up on a lot of the games they've been working on because they took too long. The excitement is gone. You know, when you get the idea the first time, you're like, this is what's going to revolutionize gaming, right? But then when you take too long to make it, you get bored of it, and then you see the next shiny thing and the next idea, and you start working on new projects every day. And that's one of the main issues a lot of game developers currently have. However, the creators that I've worked with that were very successful treat game development as a science experiment. They basically test everything they do. Test fast, they kill faster, and they scale if needed. So here's one of the systems I've actually worked with a lot of the game studios. Test fast and kill faster. That's what I like to call it. What does that mean exactly? You need to build prototypes very quickly, 1 to 2 weeks maximum. Just the basic mechanics. Test it out on Facebook ads, TikTok ads, and then get the data you need. Once you get the data, if it reaches certain threshold in KPIs, you can iterate and work on improving the game. If not, you should kill your game instantly. I know it's harsh, you fall in love with your idea, but that's when you kill it. And on this video, I will get into what are the KPIs a lot of the publishers are using now to either kill a game or scale a game. The prototype you need to think ugly, think rough. It needs to be very plain simple. It needs to be just the mechanics and 5 levels, for example. Just to give you a brief example on this, let's say you want to work on a puzzle game, like a match 3 puzzle game. Just go to the Unity Asset Store. You can download templates on whatever mechanics you want, whether it's a swipe matching, whether it's a tap and pop matching, match 3 style, and then just build 5 levels and upload it to the Google Play Store on the Apple App Store, and then run some Facebook ads to get some results. Forget about the fancy graphics. Players only care if they like the game, if they're having fun playing it. They don't really care how the buttons look, how the animations look at the start. So here's how you would run a test. You would very quickly upload it to the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and start running some Facebook ads. Very quickly, within days, you'll get actual numbers on KPIs. There's no guessing, there's no personal feelings whether the game has potential or not. That test will literally tell you this game is gonna flop or not. And I'm gonna give you exactly what are the KPIs you need to look into when running these types of tests, and what are the thresholds you need to be looking into. Okay, so first thing, you need to look into the CPI. What is CPI? CPI is the cost per install. That means how much are you spending to acquire one user. So for example, you're spending $10 and you get one user, that would mean your CPI is $10 per install. But if you're spending $50 on an ad and it's returning 50 installs, then it means your cost per install is $1. If your ad runs and it has a CPI of higher than $2, then most likely your game is not as attractive to players because people viewed the ad and they just skipped it. But don't give up yet, because with the CPI, you need to complement with day one retention, playtime, and different types of data points, which I will get to right now. So let's put it aside first for now, the CPI. Let's look into the day one retention. Day one retention means what's the percentage of people that downloaded today came back tomorrow, right? And usually, depending on the genre of the game, especially we're at very early stages of prototyping, if you have anything higher than 25 to 30% day one retention, then your game could potentially have potential and you can iterate and keep working on it. So let's say you have a 35 or a 25 day one retention. You put it on the site, $2 CPI, 25 to 30% day one retention. The third key point you need to look into is the playtime. There's the first day playtime, which is how long did a user play your game in a specific session or a specific day. If your playtime on day one is 10 minutes and above, that's a very good sign. Now you need to wait 3 days to get the cumulative D3 playtime. So if your D3 playtime is over 20 minutes, that means your game really has potential. You need to work, you keep working on it. So for me to summarize these KPIs, if you have a CPI lower than $2, then that's a green light that your game is attractive to users. If your day one retention is 25 to 30%, then that means your game is sticky enough. So keep working on it. If your playtime is higher than 10 minutes on the first day, then also keep working on it, because playtime converts into ad revenue. Now let's say you had very bad KPIs. For example, you have a CPI of $5, day one retention of 15%, and a playtime of 5 minutes. You can guess what you should do. You should close the shit out of that game, stop working on it. As simple as that. So let's talk about some real world examples. If you look at Mob Control, they actually make millions of dollars in revenue. And when they were first prototyping, they had such great results where the publisher Voodoo decided to actually publish the game. Mob Control had around a CPI of 50 cents and a day one retention of 35% and higher. So the team thought we could keep working on this game, and they were right? Because the data doesn't lie. It's not the publisher that has preferences whether that game could be successful or not, but it's actually the data that decides. Now let me give you a very bad example where the mechanics look great, the graphics look great. Like even when I was working on testing that game, I was like, this game will definitely have a lower CPI than Mob Control, for example. Well, I was surprised. That game reached $3 in CPI and a very bad retention. But what we decided to do is kill it. We killed it instantly and started working on another concept, because gaming is a numbers game. Simple games with great metrics always win, because in the mobile gaming business, you have 3 ways to monetize. It's ads, in-app purchases, or subscriptions. And most likely, a lot of the revenue is going to be coming from ads, because you get younger audiences, for example. So here's exactly what you can do in the next 30 days to avoid that number one mistake and increase your chances of creating a hit game. So go on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and start researching a niche you want to work on, a type of game that interests you. So go look in the top charts, free games, and start looking for ideas. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to make a twist to an already successful game. Now that you've chosen a genre or a game-specific mechanics, what you need to do is you need to use a tool where it makes it so easy for you to make those games and deploy them to the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So my recommendation really for mobile games is to use Unity or BuildBox. So Unity is if you have some coding experience and you can actually make games, and BuildBox is for someone that just wants to use a no-code solution to make the genre they've decided to make. So on Unity, prototype very quickly, go to the Unity Asset Store, start downloading or buying some of the assets and make that prototype, make that first prototype and do your Facebook ads test. On the Facebook ads test, you can either go to a publisher and they will test it for free for you, such as Voodoo or Supersonic or different publishers. Or you can run your own Facebook ads if you have experience doing so. I'm actually going to launch a video on how you can actually advertise on Facebook ads for your games in the next week. So once you run your ads, make sure to start analyzing your data. And as we discussed before, CPI higher than $2, kill it. CPI lower than $2, keep working on it. Day one retention, lower than 25%, kill it. Higher than 25%, iterate on it. Playtime longer than 10 minutes on the first day and 20 minutes on the third day, keep working on it. Lower than that number, just kill the game. If you do this process again and again and again, you will get that hit game. So it could take you 10 games to make your hit game, but that's how you would actually increase your chances of competing with other game developers. The difference between winners and losers is not talent, it's speed. Winners test fast and kill even faster. This is exactly in any business that you can think of. This works the same way in e-commerce, where you test products very quickly and kill them even faster. to work on other stuff. This works on feature flagging, on A/B testing, on any type of apps, and this also works for gaming. The faster you make games, the faster you kill games, the higher chances of success. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be working on a lot of these types of videos where I get into details on how you can actually start running ads, how you can actually find game ideas that have higher potential of succeeding, how to work with gaming publishers, how to actually work with crypto games, for example. And thank you for watching.